I'm starting a new bed of vegetables and I want to show you how I do that. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the entire land that we just went in with the tractor. It was full of tall grass and weeds, and so I've somewhat cleaned it of the weeds, but not perfectly. So if I bring you in closer, you can still see that there's some grass growing. My worst nightmare is this Bermuda grass, but because this is a new bed, I'm just gonna let it be, and I'm gonna show you the entire process. I mark the walkways of my beds with some wooden stakes that I had used during the summertime last year, and I left the string on because this is what I use to mark, and that basically helps me keep a straight line when I'm digging out my walkways. And so what I did here in between is I get my shovel and basically start digging out a little trench. Not too deep, just enough for me to distinguish what is a bed right here and what is my walkway. And so that's what I'm doing. And now I'm leveling out the beds, so when the tractor comes out of the row, it leaves behind an entire mound of dirt here, and so I want to even everything out. So right now I'm shoveling basically all this mound of dirt and spreading it across the bed, on both sides. So that's what you'll see me doing here, and then I'll show you the next step, which will be to add we'll level this out with the rake and then add my compost, and we'll see how we're doing in a bit. Okay guys, so I'm pretty much done shoveling the dirt from the big mount that there was onto the rest of the bed. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my rake and go ahead and level the entire bed out as much as possible with the dirt that I have right now. And then after that, we'll be ready to add the compost and mix it in with the soil, so that we can have pretty much a bed ready to be planted on. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how I level out the bed with the rake. Okay guys, so I'm gonna show you a comparison of the two beds that I'm making, just so you can see the difference. So this is the bed that I just evened out in comparison to the one that's still not evened out. There's still just lumps of soil just lumps of soil hanging out in different parts of the bed. And in this one, you can see it's much more even. I'll come in and take some of these weeds. However, I do notice that the bed goes straight and then there's a dip there and then it goes back up. So I'll fix that by adding more soil there. Like I'll rake it over there from the lump that's right there. So this one's evened out, and then I'll go ahead and do that one. But you guys can see the process of how I start making beds. Alright, so hey guys, it's a couple days later on the bed making process because we had a couple storms come by and that delayed me in the process of being able to work, first of all, and then of course of making the beds. But as you can see, there's been some changes that have taken place. One of them is I cleaned off all of the weeds that were here, and as well on that side of the beds. And I also went ahead and marked my beds, and I don't measure out my beds, and the reason being is because I'm a tiny person. I'm short. I'm only 5 feet tall, so even if I made wide beds, I can't harvest easily from both ends if I want to get towards the middle. So I don't measure it. I just eyeball it and do it to a width that I feel comfortable working with. And so you can see this bed is wider than the one on this side, and that's due to the width of the entire aisle. So all of this is what I take into consideration, and the rest of the bed was already made, and it has crops growing all the way towards the end. And over here on this side is a new piece of land that we worked with, so that's why there's a path already pre-made for me to just follow through to the new side of the bed. And that's the reason I don't measure, and then that's the reason you see how there's a difference in width of the bed. And so I've staked a rope here so that it keeps me in check when I'm dumping in the dirt and then raking it even, and then when I put in my compost, it just keeps me a little bit more aligned to where I want the bed, or how wide I want the bed. So that's the process. So now that I've done this, I am going to bring in compost, and then I'll show you guys that process. I bring it in with a wheelbarrow, and then my compost pile is right there. And so yeah, I'll bring that in with the wheelbarrow and dump it on top, mix it, and then the beds will be ready to be planted in. So hello guys, I am now a couple of days after the last clip, and I am going to show you what the beds look like after I have leveled it out and also added compost to them. So that's what you're about to see, and then I can show you a comparison of two beds that are now being used for planting. All right, everyone, so these are the two beds that you have been seeing me work on, and this is a currently empty bed, and you can see I have added compost to it, and it's mixed in with the existing soil that I had, and we can walk around and you can now see how leveled it is. So it's perfect, and this is all new beds that have not previously been planted on. And remember, it was this bed and this bed, so those two are new. And I'm following the width of the bed all along to already existing bed. And so what you see all right here, that was planted on last fall and summer, but thankfully everything has flown away, so meaning I've sold it to my customers at the farm stand, and so I want to keep it planted, and that's why I went ahead and added compost to that. So on this side you can see this is all from last fall that I planted on. Now the difference you'll see from the last clips that I've showed you, this bed I've already planted carrots into it because my carrots were getting too big for the tray that it's in, and I really needed to get them out. So that's what I did yesterday, and you can see that it's 2 rows of them, and I'm following the existing irrigation tape that I have so that it can just coincide to where I've planted the carrots. So as I'm extending here the irrigation tape, you can see that it goes in the middle. So there's 1 row of carrots all right there, and then on the other side there's another row, and it'll look better once I lay down the irrigation tape. And so that's what's happening here, and then that's usually the process that I do to start planting. I don't leave the beds empty for a long period of time, because then that's when I notice that weeds can easily take over. So I want to plant into them really quickly, and that's why you see the carrots already planted here, and then I'm coming back in with another row of carrots. So that'll be my carrot bed. But yeah guys, let me know if you guys liked seeing the process of me making new beds. It's taken me a little longer than usual because of the storms that we've been getting, but nonetheless it has to get done, and so hope you guys enjoyed the process. Thank you so much for watching.